It is always a sweet thing when you get confirmation or affirmation that you made the right choice, whether the results of that choice come back right away or a little bit further down the road. Either way, it's super great that the Packers, in this particular case, they get proof that they made the right choice. It was a tough choice in the moment, but they can take a step back and look at the results of their decision and feel confident that they made the right ones. I feel Brian Gutekunst does a fantastic job in sometimes reading the room. Sometimes, that he takes the emotion out of it, I feel, and he just makes that tough choice. So, what are the two choices that I feel Brian Gutekunst made the absolute correct choices, and we get confirmation and proof that he did? One of those is the course Hall of Fame quarterback on the screen right there in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, one of my favorite Packers of all time, of course, because of all of the great football memories and moments and just a winning spirit and a winning attitude that he brought to the Packer franchise for so many years. And now we can take a step back and be like, you know what? Here we go. We got the drama starting already in New York, and it's a familiar place for us as Packer fans to be in the Jets fans seat right now of just being like, okay, the drama is, will he return? Will he show up? If you remember, those were the questions that we had, just for so long as Packer fans. I would say like the last 3 years that he was in Green Bay, we were wrestling with the off season drama of, is this guy going to return? Okay, he is going to return. When is he going to return? Is he going to show up for OTAs? Is he going to show up for mini camp? Is he going to show up for training camp? All of those things are rolling around right now in the Jets. I'm sure franchises' minds and all of that. But I'm sure the fans are left sitting there scratching their head, being like, okay, is this dude all in or not? Now, before we get too dramatic about things, Aaron Rodgers did show up for OTAs, which was, that was a being a good leader, right? It's something that we, don't want to take for granted. Jordan Love, even though he's trying to work out his contract and the structure of that contract, which is yet to happen, he leads by example. He goes out there and he shows up. He doesn't hold out, he shows up. And I love that Jordan Love is just becoming that great role model for young people out there, for even players on his team, that is just like, hey, you know what, even if you don't have your contract and all that stuff worked out, you can still show up. You can still show up for work, put in the hard work, because it's going to pay off, and it always does, right? So Aaron Rodgers, okay, so he again didn't show up. It was an unexcused absence for mandatory training camp or mini camp. So it causes for a little bit of talk and it causes for a little bit of drama out there. But it says right here in the article that the Jets kicked off their mandatory minicamp on Tuesday, but they were without their Hall of Fame quarterback. Some players are excused by the team if they were unable to attend, but that's not the case for Aaron Rodgers. Per ESPN's source, Rodgers' absence for minicamp isn't excused. He is attending an event that was important to him, right? Again, familiar territory for us as Packer fans hearing that. But it goes on to say it's important to Rodgers, but not something that the Jets approved. And that's the key thing, that the Jets didn't approve it, but yet Aaron Rodgers chose to take it upon himself to just be like, hey, you know what? What I have to do is a little bit more important than you. I know you're paying me millions to show up for this job and to lead. And I know that I missed the whole season last year due to an injury, but this isn't as important to me as what I already had previously scheduled. So whether that is, preemptively, dramatic, even stating that out loud, it just shows for us as Packer fans that we can step back and take a look at some of the choices that Brian Gutekunst has made in trading Jordan Love when he did and getting him there. Aaron Rodgers certainly was starting to wear out his welcome. As much as that pains me to say, he was wearing his welcome out in Green Bay, just with that drama of, is he going to show up? Is he not going to show up? Is he going to retire? All of those things. But either way, it's not our problem anymore. So the Packers, they had nearly 100% participation in OTAs. Okay, so that is something to get excited about, something that can be easily taken for granted for, especially when you take a look at what's happening there in New York and their point guard out on the football field doesn't show up, right? And that has a ripple effect. It really does. Whether we'd like to admit that or not. Now, mind you, it's going to be about 5 more weeks before training camp starts, but already the drama is starting. So what's the other area that I feel the Packers get proof that they made the right choice? And it happens to do with Aaron Jones, another Aaron, right? And another dude that did so much for Green Bay for so long, right? So Brian Gute was interviewed and kind of gives an explanation as to like, hey, listen, here's why we didn't things didn't work out with Aaron Jones. Whether they wanted him there, but I love this quote by Gute, and I think this is something to mention. Right, it says right here, we weren't able to come to an agreement that we thought we might be able to get with Aaron Jones, and then, quite frankly, some opportunities opened up that we didn't expect as well. And he's talking about the Josh Jacobs thing. As hard as it is when you're emotionally attached to a player like Aaron and everything he's done for the club, and you have to do what's right for the Packers. And I feel I owe it to the organization. And wow, what a leader, what a statement when you got a guy like Brian Gutekunst taking the higher road of just being like, you know what, we're going to take the emotion out of this. Aaron Jones is quite the player for us and has been quite the player, not just on the field, but off the field. The dude does so much for the community and so many things and aspects, and such a leader in the locker room. So he knew what he was, giving up when he allowed a player like Aaron Jones to walk, because they could not structure out a deal that was going to be mutually beneficial for both parties. So he certainly wanted Aaron Jones back with the Packers. He just thought, we got to do what's best for the organization. And I feel like when we were given an opportunity to go and get a guy like Josh Jacobs out there and be able to spend, just slightly more and get a younger guy, a guy that's proven. It's not like Josh Jacobs is entering the league not proven. He's just a year removed from having over 2,000 rushing yards season. Okay, so Aaron Jones is going to be sorely missed, but when you add a guy like Josh Jacobs on your team, some may consider that an upgrade. I feel it is an upgrade given the age gap right now. It is certainly an upgrade for the Packers. But leave your comments and let me know. Man, Brian Gutekunst, I feel, is one of the best GMs in the league in its choices and decisions like that we get affirmation and confirmation to, that we're just like, you know what, man, this dude is suited for the GM position. He knows what he is doing in Green Bay. And for me as a Packer fan, I can sit back and relax, as Aaron Rodgers would say, is relax. Even though, when we take guys in the draft that we, aren't necessarily the popular choice, we can sit back and relax and be like, okay, Brian Gutekunst has got this. I trust the decision that he's making, because we're getting the fruits of those choices that he's made. Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Go Pack Go.